Now we're rolling. Damage Plan MMA podcast. I'm Jason. As always, my co-host, Mr. Zack Partridge, in the house. What up, dog?
What up, Holmes?
Okay, so before we get started, I just wanted to give an early congratulations to you and your lovely wife, who are going to be welcoming a new baby boy tomorrow. I'm jumping the gun a little bit, so I wanted to say congratulations early. And a huge shout out to your wife, who I just said is having a baby tomorrow. Where was she at this morning? The gym.
The gym. That's where she always is. Just so you know,
excuses.
Every pregnancy, she gets up and goes to the gym like the most dedicated. I say like a psycho, but I mean it with the utmost respect. It's like the dedication she has is incredible.
I didn't realize she was doing those high fitness classes. Those are intense.
Oh, yeah.
Those are intense.
And you know what she says? She's like, yeah, but like I have to modify them. You're freaking 8.5 months pregnant, still doing it.
She's not. Yeah, she's still out there doing it. Like that's the prime example of zero excuses. So Hillary, shout out. That is freaking awesome that you're still staying active while you're pregnant. No excuses.
Well, she's the prime example of too. It's all up here, right? You know, you could say, well, I don't get
tomorrow,
the best
PG.
work.
Yeah, tomorrow, PG.
She said, you know, I don't get the best workout or whatever, but she some people were like, well, I can't do everything, so I'm not going to go. She still just goes and does what she can.
Yeah.
And because of it, she will tell you, she should come on here sometime and she will tell you, because of it, she feels better through her whole pregnancy.
Yeah.
Because her body, she's keeping up as much as she can on her strength and her fitness, and her body bounces back and responds really well after she has the baby. Like, she's a rock star.
So, yeah, I just had to get that out there. I didn't get to say it on the other podcast we did, so I wanted to throw it out there on this one.
Much deserved.
And then before we jump into one of the greatest UFC pay-per-views that we've seen, we have UFC coming August 20th to Salt Lake City, baby.
Yeah, we knew.
I like it. I actually I love that they have Kamaru Usman on there, which you knew they had to have a big name coming on there, right?
Dude, you know what though? I have heard since then that Kamaru's, like, I heard that was how the UFC, you know how the UFC announces fights to try and pressure the fighter to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've heard he still's like, I'm not sure if my hand's ready.
He just said that like a week ago. He said his hand, he was taking.
If that's really the case, I think there's a really good chance you're going to see an interim title between Leon Edwards and somebody else. Because they have to put a title fight there.
RDA?
No, RDA's fighting Rafael Fiziev at 155.
Is he?
Yeah.
Where have I been? So who would they give it to?
Colby.
Really? After a lot, man. I got to look this up now.
Okay, with Chimaev looking human, in his last fight against Gilbert, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it now because like before it was like Chimaev, even me, right? I've been on the Chimaev chain since day one. Yeah. I love Chimaev, right? But before you're looking at that division and you're going, dude, Colby's basically like it's 1A, 1B.
Oh, look at that.
What a good guy for you.
Parking, yeah. Colby's still number one, so yeah, it'd be Colby and Leon then for an interim.
You know what I mean? Like,
interesting.
Colby's the guy.
Yeah, it'd have to be you'd have to think it was a big name because that's their ABC card, right?
Yeah. Well, and they stack up those ABC cards nice.
Yeah, they really do. We're lucky.
You ready for another possibility that I heard?
What?
You heard him say Poirier and Gaethje for August 27th. That could very easily be slid up a week. The 27th is not a done deal yet. And if they have like a little bit of an underwhelming title fight, they might put something like that as the co-main event to really like bring the eyeballs to that type of a card.
They have the Rockhold
free paper, like the UFC 278 being the number, right? Like they want to load that card up as it being a free one to highlight it to make people want to buy pay-per-views. They're doing this like once a year now where one of them's free. So I mean, Gaethje and Poirier coming to if that somehow happened. I mean,
Dude,
and I
did
mean,
you
it kind of makes sense where Gaethje, grew up in Arizona, trains in Colorado.
trains in
Like it's
Colorado?
kind of a hometown fight for him. I mean, that's two guys that just, they're a draw anywhere in the world because of who they are, the way they fight.
Did you fill out the press pass thing yet? We got to get that in.
I don't think it's available yet. I checked on Saturday.
Yeah, we got to get on that.
Yeah.
I was talking to Blake about it too, and Blake's like, "Oh yeah, we're going to do one for Park City TV too."
What do you think? I heard, so you see, Connor is now kicking.
Mm-hmm.
So we all think Connor fights Nate Diaz, right?
Well, Dana said he likes Chandler and Connor.
Yeah, but poor Nate, he just wants out of his UFC contract so bad.
So bad.
And the UFC is not going to let him out without fighting Connor.
No.
I think that's clear, right?
If you're making the matchups, would you put Connor with Masvidal, Chandler, or Diaz? What's the bigger fight to you?
Am I trying to make money, or am I trying to what's the goal?
Money. What's the biggest fight out of those three for Connor? Who's going to bring the most attention?
No, so the biggest fight is Masvidal.
Okay, I agree.
You do it for the BMF title, whatever.
Yeah.
It's Masvidal. Those are Connor and Jorge are the two biggest draws in the UFC.
Yeah, I agree.
If you put them together, they might sell 4 million pay-per-views. You know what I mean? Right. But if you want to see if you can have a reemergence of Connor's relevance, you let him fight Nate because it's the most winnable fight for Connor.
I think Connor beats. I actually think he beats Jorge, and I think he beats Diaz.
I think he beats Nate. I'm not sure I'm willing to say he beats Jorge.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he's got a chance to beat Chandler too.
He has a chance to beat Chandler, but the most winnable fight for him is Nate Diaz at this point.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
And you got to remember, Nate kind of gave Jorge fit, or Nate gave Connor fits in both fights, right?
He did. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jorge obliterated Nate. And I know MMA math doesn't work. I think there's a chance Jorge could actually really beat Connor up.
How much bigger is Jorge than McGregor? Is he that much bigger than him?
Not since Connor's on the freaking eating needles and pills diet.
He's 6'9", 74-inch reach. Where's Jorge at? How tall is Jorge? I'm looking it up right now. Dude, they got the same reach. Jorge's 2 inches taller. I want to see them next to each other because Dana seems to think Jorge's way bigger. I don't know if I agree with that. But then again, I haven't seen either one of them in person. Yeah, right, Fiji? Just like Zack said, I don't think he is either because he's on the gas.
I don't know. I don't know if he's on the gas. I think he's just been lifting an inordinate amount. So here's the real question. Go ahead.
I was going to say, did you see that TikTok that guy put out about how many times McGregor's been drug tested in a short amount of time, but in the last year and a half, he really hasn't been tested at all?
Yeah. Well, here's the real question with Connor. Does he look that way because he's obsessing and trying to put in the work? Or does he look that way just because extracurricular?
I think he's putting in the work. I really do. Like you even if you did do that, you still have to put in the work. You still have to eat the food. You still have to do the workouts. Like you can't. It's not like it's like some miracle drug where you just and then you just jacked up. Like he's working. Whether he's doing extracurricular stuff or not, he's definitely putting in the work.
I don't believe like it's the Tiger Woods fallacy, right? We're
Yeah.
all waiting for Tiger to get back to the top. And anytime
Right.
he has a good round and it's like, oh, he's back or whatever, right? That was the Donald Cerrone fight. We're like, oh, he's back. But then, dude, then you watch the first round of the Poirier fight. I think he won that round until he broke his leg.
Yeah.
I
Oh
think
yeah.
he won that round. And even
Yeah.
Poirier admitted it. Poirier admitted he even buzzed him. Oh, you saw it does go outside the U.S. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. If you're in the testing, yeah.
But yeah, Poirier, he said, yeah, dude, he still hits harder than anybody I've been in there with. And and I'm like, and now that they're talking about, you know, that Conor knew he had a fracture in his leg and he was throwing that kick anyways, kind of recklessly. I just think he thought he was a little invincible. And it's like, I don't think we're going to see a run like he had.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But he's still dangerous enough. Yeah, dude, he could beat a Chandler.
Yeah.
I don't think he beats anybody above Chandler though.
Right.
He could beat a Justin Gaethje. He could beat a Justin Gaethje.
He could beat a Justin Gaethje. Yeah.
He could beat a Poirier.
He could beat Poirier. Yeah.
He doesn't beat Oliveira or Islam though.
Islam, no.
Or Usman.
No.
Not even sure he beats Benny Dariush.
Yeah, Dariush just takes him down and smothers him.
Huh. Or so if I was the UFC, I would tell Conor, listen, I know you're the man, I know you're the star, but we would like you to get a decent little win streak going here. That is true. That is true. You saw they can't make it to Thailand because nobody will help him there and nobody will tell him where anything is.
Yeah. I did hear about that.
Which is hilarious.
Interesting. Very interesting.
But what I was going to say is if I'm the UFC, I'm going to tell Conor, listen, you're going to fight Nate Diaz this late summer, fall. Cool. You're going to beat him. And then we're going to give you Tony Ferguson and let you guys do that fight that you've always wanted to do. And then you're going to probably retire Tony. Okay. After that, you get a couple wins. Jorge's a little bit older. Then we do the Jorge fight. Now, hopefully, if you win those 3 fights, you know, you beat Nate Diaz, Tony Ferguson, Jorge Masvidal. On paper, that looks really good, minus the fact that, you know, it's kind of a little bit late. Like they're kind of on the decline, you know, like you're hoping he's catching them at a good time, right? And
you
get it. And you're Conor, who's still only like 32, 33 years old, right? And you catch all those guys and you get that win. Maybe you get the BMF title on Conor McGregor's waist, and everybody is going to be hooping, hollering, and raving that he's back or whatever. And then by then you can say, who do you want to fight as the champ? You want to fight Islam? You know, Khabib's protege. Is Michael Chandler still at the top? You know, Justin Gaethje and you don't like each other very much. You know, Poirier, unfinished business. Like, I'm just saying, if you build Conor the right way, if you're trying to build it the right way, that's the path.
Yeah. I don't hate it. Bring him here to Utah.
Michael Chandler now, he might beat him, but Conor might beat Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler may beat him. Conor loses if Conor gets knocked out again, like, I think the buzz is already gone. Like, the hype of Conor is already gone.
Yeah.
Like when I see a Conor McGregor fight now, if I'm like, oh, Conor could come back, whatever. Now it's like, okay. Like before it was like, oh, it's a Conor fight.
Yep.
That's gone.
Well, should we talk about this UFC 275?
Yeah.
That was a good card.
That's a good card.
That was a great freaking card. Hey, too bad in our picks either. Let's let's jam through these prelim ones, and then we'll get into the juicy ones, because I'm sure we'll talk about those a lot. First one up, we had Jocelyn Edwards and Ramona Pascal.
I called that by Edwards by decision.
Edward by decision. We got that one. Silviana Gomez Juarez against Na Liang, and what a knockout. Wow.
Dude.
Yes. What's up with them giving him Bitcoin for a bonus? Did you see that?
Really?
Yeah, they were giving Bitcoin out for the bonuses.
UFC doesn't like Bitcoin anymore either. They're trying to unload all their Bitcoin.
We nailed that one. This one, I think we were opposite on this one. You picked, you picked
I picked them on
I had Kane.
Partner. I said there wasn't a lot of like technical reasoning on this.
I saw the first round. I thought Khan won the first round. I didn't get to see the other two rounds, but you're texting me. You showed me the stats. You're like, what the hell? He's like, hey, he should win. So I didn't see it. What
wasn't a robbery, but it was, yeah.
Brendan Allen, Jacob Malkoun. We both thought Malkoun had a great shot, and
he was a live dog.
He was a live dog because that was a close fight. So
Brendan Allen won the fight. It wasn't a robbery by any means, but Malkoun was in that fight.
I don't hate our take on this one. Oh, we were both wrong on this one. Mahishate against Garcia, and Mahishate just counter right hand knockout Steve Garcia.
We might have to reconsider the Dana White Contender Series thing.
Yeah. Man, we were both on Choi. He loses a split decision. I thought Kulabau did enough to win the fight. I wasn't mad with that decision either. I thought Choi.
Oh yeah, we were wrong.
Kulabau, he looked impressive. His striking looked good.
Head movement was good.
It ain't going to 100K next week, Fiji. I wish it would, but I don't see it. Maybe eventually. What? I think it gets there. Bitcoin. He said they'll appreciate the Bitcoin
right now.
24 grand. It ain't
going up 400% in a week.
Not anytime soon. I still think there's a chance that I don't think it's going anywhere, but we still have a while.
We're not a financial podcast. Let's just talk about.
And then the Jack Della Maddalena fight against Ramazan Ameev. Whew. I think you took the Russian on that one, right?
I just had a weird feeling. I mean, it was just like this weird thing. Like, I wasn't super confident in it.
You were this close to getting it too, because he had that choke in. Was it a Darce? It was a Darce, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was tight. What is up with those guys from Australia getting out of these chokes? Because Maddalena trains in Australia with doesn't he train with anyways, he's from Australia. Volkov gets out of the chokes with what's his name?
Oh, Ortega.
These guys don't tap. They don't tap to chokes. They're just like, nah, we're not tapping. We're not tapping, dog. That was fun. Ooh, that liver shot was cracked him.
Shout out Joe Haro.
Shout out Joe Haro on that one. Dude, we were wrong on this one. Jake Matthews looked phenomenal.
Okay. I always like Jake Matthews. You know this. Like, I've always kind of picked him. I've always liked him, whatever. And I picked the wrong fight to get off his train, because Filau, when he knocked out Miguel Baeza, I was so impressed by that. And then he looked so good last month. It's his third fight in 3 months. He was just on this train. And Jake Matthews, dude, he was just that was so by far the best version of Jake Matthews we've ever seen. It was like, you know what? He might start to like fulfill that potential of being signed as a 21-year-old, you know? Coming to the UFC and building your career in the UFC has not really been a good recipe for success.
Yeah, it hasn't been at all.
They usually exit stage left before they get going.
Yep.
I hope that means that Jake Matthews figured it all out, put it together. Because you know what? One thing he didn't do at all? He didn't wrestle. He's a wrestler.
He didn't.
And he's a wrestler. And he looked like a freaking sniper.
Yeah, that was That was impressive. Kid's only 27 years old too.
And to watch the way that, I mean, he didn't care. Filau has slept 2 people in a row, and he was controlling, leading that dance the whole way, and he knew it. It didn't phase him one bit the way that Filau had slept his last 2 opponents.
No, not at all. He looked super confident on his feet.
I'm back all in on the Jake Matthews trade.
I
hope they get him on a card quick and he can start building
like a bigger Bobby Green. He looked good, Fiji.
Yeah, he did.
Real good.
Box, man, we're seeing a little surge of boxing. These MMA guys with clean boxing, but blending it, right?
Give another shout out to Joe Haro because he was training boxing for his last fight, and you saw that his boxing coach told him, if you go rewatch his fight, his boxing coach told him before the fight, he said, if you start throwing those feints, he's going to shell up. He's not going to know what to do. And if you watch his fight, he looked like he didn't know. I'm not going to say he didn't know, but it looked like those feints were throwing him off because he kept using those little feints in there. And that was because of his boxing.
Oh yeah. When you start touching somebody, you start touching them the way Joel does. And Jake Matthews, these boxers, you touch people, then you start throwing in feints after you've touched them. They start reacting to everything, right?
And then Weili Zhang against Joanna, man, called it. We said inside the distance.
Yeah, I said, everybody wanted like this another war, and that first round was about it looked like a 6th round of the first fight, right? Like they were just chunking at each other, and people talk about Weili's wrestling. Joanna is basically Weili's doing all the right things to drain her of her energy, and Joanna is getting up and still throwing. Like she was in shape. Like we talked about not being in fight camp and stuff like that. She was in shape. She looked really good. But I said I just have a feeling that Weili it's going to end like Weili's going to knock her out in the first, second round or something. We'll see something, and she put her all the way to sleep.
Weili leveling up with that wrestling.
I think Weili with this wrestling, she might be unstoppable in about another year.
So she's probably going to get the Carla Esparza fight, right?
She mops Carla, mops her, because that whole sit back and counter game to get taken down that Carla plays, that ain't going to fly with Weili, dog.
But
she's going to destroy Carla Esparza.
How will Carla be able to cancel out that? She should be able to cancel out Weili's wrestling because Weili's not going to be on the same level as wrestling. But that striking is going to be the difference.
I don't know. I think Weili's a lot stronger than Carla Esparza. She's more physically imposing. I think Carla Esparza saw that and went.
And Joanna said at the press conference, she's like, she was stronger than when they first first fight. She was a lot stronger.
Yeah. Shout out to Joanna. She's the greatest strawweight champion of all time. She had a great career, 5 title defenses. And you know what? You know what I liked about it? Once the writing was on the wall, she wins that fight. She's right in title contention. She loses that fight. She's like, I'm probably not fighting for a title again.
Yeah.
Deuces.
Good for her.
Be a mom. Good for her.
Good for her. Yeah.
Like those guys that were at the top, falling from the top, and they're just fighting just to fight. It's like that's what you love to do. Oh, great! It's great, but it's like, what are you fighting for? She's made all the money. Like, what are you doing? I'm happy for her. I think it's good. I think she's been good for the sport. I will say I did send you a meme. Not a good look for the Boogie Woman and the Boogie Man though in their last fight. Tony Ferguson, the Boogie Man, face down, unconscious. Ooh. Boogie Woman, face down, unconscious. Probably don't want the nickname of Boogie Woman or Boogie Man.
Yeah, you might want to dump that one. Little controversy in this next fight.
No, it wasn't.
I didn't think so, but if you're listening to, dude, what is up with DC? DC?
I went at him on TikTok today.
It's almost like he doesn't even understand what the judging criteria is. How long has he been in MMA? How many years has DC been doing MMA? And he doesn't understand the judging criteria. I'm like, I've been trying to make it a point to read the judging criteria before every pay-per-view. This shout out to Steve Berger because he's the one that told me to recommended that I should do that. And it's helped me on these last couple pay-per-views because I'm looking at these fights a little bit differently now, especially the ones that are super close like that, where they're a little more grappling heavy, but one fighter's doing a little bit more damage. I will just give you here's what I thought. I thought Shevchenko won round 1. I thought round 2 was a little bit closer. The judges, 2 of the judges gave Santos round 1. One judge gave Shevchenko round 1 and 2. One judge gave what was it? The judge that gave round 1 and 2 to Santos gave round 4 or Shevchenko gave 4 and 5 to Shevchenko as well. They only saw Santos win in round 3. Round 3 was unanimous. Everybody thought Santos won round 3. And rounds 4 and 5 were Shevchenko.
I gave Shevchenko round 2. I gave her round 4. I gave her round 5.
Yeah. I don't. When they're that close and it's a split decision, how can you be upset with the decision? When it's a close fight, it's clearly a close fight. I mean, but you got guys like DC giving, they're weighing that position heavily, but they're not taking into account the damage and the submission attempts that Shevchenko's doing from the bottom. Santos, she was in position, but she wasn't doing anything with it. Shevchenko's landing elbows from the bottom. She's trying submission attempts from the bottom. When that, it was either round 1 or 2 where she was hitting her. We were talking about this morning where she was hitting it with those shots when she was on her back. Those were hard shots.
Right. I stand by it. I never at any point thought Valentina was in trouble.
Same.
And there were times that Santos was in trouble. I think the judges are getting better, that it's getting better about more consistently being about damage than anything else. So
I would like to see.
Yeah.
I mean, look, my opinion is like the commentators shouldn't be weighing very carefully on their commentary and what they're saying and like, oh, she won that round. Oh, she stole this round. It's like, hey, you're not a judge. Like, leave it to the judges because now you're getting people all up in arms.
Fair. That's not fair. We do the same thing when we commentate.
No, we don't. We always say this is what we think, but we're not judges. We're not the judges. This is what we think.
Yeah, but
these guys are very adamant, and
that should go without saying. That
you have a guy with like DC who's one of the greatest of all time, and he's saying that this is the way he's seeing this fight, and it should be this way. I don't know. During COVID, it was worse because judges could hear them. Yeah, it was pretty bad during COVID. Where was it? Florida that was having the bad. Was it Florida? They were horrible.
I don't know. I really when one judge said 49-46, my heart sunk and I thought for a second, I'm like, Valentina's about to get screwed. That they gave Santos those takedowns and position without damage and gave her 4 of the rounds. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. But
so what's next for Valentina?
Winner of Pena Nunez at 135.
She said at the press conference that she wants, if Tate wins, she thinks her and Miesha Tate should fight at the end of the year.
Oh my gosh, she obliterates Miesha Tate.
Yeah, she said she thinks that would be a good fight.
Be a good fight for her.
I don't hate it. You wouldn't like that fight? You don't think that's a big fight?
It's a big fight just because Miesha Tate is.
Yeah. Dude, let's talk about Yuri and Glover Teixeira. Was that not one of the greatest fights of all? That was a phenomenal fight.
That was wild.
Crazy.
That might be the top 3, top 5. I can't think of a title fight where there were more moments that made me bah, you know.
Oh, I kept going back for them like it's over now.
It
He's
wasn't
done.
a Rock'em Robot fight.
Yeah.
It was like, but there was times where I'm like, oh, in the second and third round, I'm like,
Oh
oh,
yeah,
Glover's
he's
done.
done. How many
He's
times do we take
tired.
each other? Glover's gassed.
Oh no,
He's
but
done. He's
both of you
finished.
look fresh.
Yeah. That was phenomenal.
I can't. I've never, which is so funny and ironic because I always laugh and I always jump for guillotines in the training room. And I always talk about how if you have it, go for it, and this and that. And I text Cole Faust and I said I will never ever jump for a guillotine like in a fight ever again. Like that, dude. I've never freaked out on the couch like I did when he jumped for that guillotine and Yuri slipped right out of it. I was like, what in the world was he thinking that would possess him to do that? Right as I texted, and I stand by this too. I don't think Yuri has a very high fight IQ. That's where he
I
gets
don't.
beat.
Yeah.
That's where he gets beat. I don't think he has I think he made a bazillion tactical errors in his fight.
So
And his whole hands down, bobbing his head out, trying to bait you to punch him in the forehead. Dude, somebody's going to sleep him.
Does he beat Jan?
I think so.
Does he beat a Rakic or a Ankalev?
I think Rakic could be incredible fight.
Yeah, Steve kept messaging me. He's like, he felt that Yuri was trying to make it a point and go for a sub.
Oh, he got it. 27 seconds left in the fight.
Who's the light heavyweight champ next year? This time next year, who's your light heavyweight champ?
I'll tell you.
You want me to give it to you? Do your top 5?
Yeah.
Top 5. Jan is 1. Yuri obviously is going to move up from 2 to the champ. So Rakic is 3. Magomed Ankalaev is 4. Then you got Anthony Smith, Santos, Reyes, Paul Craig, Ozdemir. There's really nobody else coming up from there.
If Rakic hadn't just torn his ACL.
Oh, I forgot about that against. Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to say Yuri's still the champ.
Really? You're standing by it, huh?
Okay, Agmedov. I know you said he smashes both of them. You texted me. You said he feel like he beats both
each other crap. Yeah.
I think he's good, not great. I think Yuri just beat Glover Teixeira on probably one of his most off nights that he's had. Well, I guess we'll see then, won't we, Steven Sharp?
Yuri, I'll give you this. He's a lot of fun for the division right now to have a guy like that. Charismatic, people like him.
Because let's be honest, does anybody care about that division?
No, not right now. I mean, look at who I just named off. I mean, outside of the top 5, do you care about a Santos, Reyes, Paul Craig, Ozdemir, Hill?
Paul Craig. I actually like Paul Craig a lot.
I do too. But I'm just saying none of these are like world beaters. We're not looking at it like we are the lightweight division where we're like, man, you got Fiziev, Sarukian, Gamrot, Riddell, like
Sarukian
killers
and Gamrot fighting in a couple weeks.
Oh. Did you see who was it that tweeted? They were talking about the. I'm trying to find the fight. Which fight was it? Oh, I was talking trash. Dang it! Now
Well, I'll just say this. I think Yuri's right. He was. I thought he was very self-critical. Good for him to admit, like he had a bad fight and he still found a way to win. But Glover's incredible. Glover is incredible. I wanted him to win that so
Oh,
bad.
I did too. Look at I tweeted you. I tweeted this to you. I sent it to you. Tweet. It was Evilov. It wasn't this week. It was last week when Evilov. He said nothing but respect to Dan Ige. He said it was an honor to share the octagon with him. You're the greatest example of hard work and heart. I won't forget what you said to me after the fight. He said, "Don't pay attention to the hater and to the Spanish dog that only barks when he feels safe." And Topuria tweets back the middle finger. He was talking about now Topuria and Evilov. I like that fight. I thought it was this week. That's why I kind of got off track on this card. So sorry about that. So you think Yuri holds the belt?
I think he can. I think it was his first time that we've seen dude. Okay. I'm gonna give him a little credit for having a bad night on his first title fight. It was his third UFC fight.
Yeah, third
I know
UFC
he had
fight.
a ton of experience outside of the UFC. It was his third UFC fight. He came in and fought a top 10 guy in Ozdemir and obliterated him. He comes in and fights basically a number one contender in Dominic Reyes, who's probably rethinking his entire life right now because that spinning elbow, Reyes, I don't know if he's gotten up yet. And then he submits Glover Teixeira. That was Anderson Silva triangling Chael Sonnen in the 5th round-esque. You're losing that fight. You're losing.
He was losing. He 100% was losing that fight.
He was down on the scorecards and he was losing that round.
I wonder if I can get.
So it was. That's a huge moment. I'm not gonna lie. Yuri, I love what somebody else said. He's the 205 version of Tony Ferguson.
I did like that. That was funny. That was good.
He's charismatic. Dude, he's a superstar if he can't hold the belt for a little bit. Dude, Hunter's sitting there telling me, let me know when Yuri fights again so I can pull up my hair like him.
Here's the question. You're going to be having 4 boys after tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Are they all going to be in different weight classes?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what this one's going to look like.
So Hunter
and Quinn have totally different builds.
So I stayed up late last night and I was thinking about this. Thinking about, okay, Zach's got 4 boys. If I had 4 boys, and I'm like, okay, Quinn's Quinn's solid, man. He's kind of got the wrestler mentality, kind of goes off on his own. Like we're at the hockey game and he's just like, I don't want to sit with you guys. I'm going to go sit the row behind you guys.
Yeah.
But Hunter's the oldest, so he's probably the toughest, right now.
Yeah.
Baby J broke his leg. He's tough.
Ankle biter.
Oh, man. His ground defense and escapes were all based off of explosive power. Eventually, that won't work. I don't see it very strong. But I do like Yuri.
Anthony Smith? Oh, sign me up for Anthony Smith and Yuri.
I actually like that, Steve.
Oh, God.
I actually like that a lot, Steve. Steve needs to settle down, man. Just had knee surgery. Now he just tore his hamstring. Come on, Steve. You're getting old, bro.
He keeps getting those injuries because he's afraid of me on the pickleball court. You don't want none of this.
Oh, snap.
She'll speech and anime won't help against Polish power. Yeah, they won't. I think Yuri's too long and athletic for the way that Jan fights.
I do too. I
think Jan. I don't know. Jan to me looks like what a 225, whatever, or cruiserweight weight class in the UFC or whatever would look like. I think Jan would fit that a lot better. That's the problem is Yuri's an athletic 205er.
He moves very well.
Huge, but he's only an inch bigger than Glover. But
he looked
long and tall and just
Yeah.
rangy and athletic, and he moves awkwardly, and he's unique, and he's a
And
character.
he could take a shot.
He can take a shot, but I mean, Ozdemir used to knock out everybody, and Yuri at a point in their fight was headbutting Ozdemir's fist, and
Could that fight IQ hurt him?
yeah, I could really see it. Against somebody like Anthony Smith. I really could see that playing in.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We have to see it.
There was a couple things that Yuri did in there that I was like, oh wow, I didn't see that. A couple of those kicks he threw, a couple of those little front kicks he was throwing. I'm like, ooh, wow, I did not even see that coming.
He was trying. You know where I think he almost lost the fight is he kept trying to set up that leaping knee. You know that
Yeah.
knee. And I think he saw it because Glover does duck his head down when he throws that like left hook or whatever, and he did. And so I know he was trying to time it, but it almost tried to look like he was trying to force a highlight finish with that a little bit.
Yeah.
And was willing to throw away rounds and lose rounds to see if he could do something spectacular. Because I mean, that spinning elbow knockout was spectacular, right? And what he did to Ozdemir was incredible. And it's like, I feel like, to Steve's point, he made it a war that really didn't have to be.
Yeah, I felt if he used his length a little bit more, he could have probably taken Glover.
He could have stayed on the outside and just picked him apart.
Yeah, because when he wanted to, yeah. Oh yeah, Steve kept between me, you, and Steve. We should have just done a group text because I'm like texting you, I'm texting Steve.
Yeah, hey Steve, want to give me on group text?
Yeah, we'll get you on.
Ball challenger.
You know who we need to get Steve on. We need to get Steve to commentate on one of these fights. Maybe September or October, we get Steve to come commentate.
I mean, I'm in.
Just saying, Steve-O. Mark your calendar, September or October. Maybe Steve and Joel have to spar to see who's going to commentate in September. How about that?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's interesting because the tough thing is it's tough with me that Yuri's the star in that division. Like,
yeah,
I don't think anybody gets all hyped up for a Jan Blachowicz fight.
Yeah, he doesn't really do it for me.
You know, he's great and he's fun.
I think Anthony Smith will do that to him.
But Anthony Smith is really fun. You know, yeah, I was about to say, what it was a wife stance.
Wide, yeah.
What I really, you know what I want? Can I be honest about something?
Yeah.
I'm not interested in John Jones at heavyweight.
Joel dropped me. I've dropped him, but on the ground. Never tapped Joel. All right. We got to set it up then. Grappling match. This Sunday's open mat at Sierra, so.
Didn't you say he just blew out his hamstring in your challenge?
Oh, yeah. How bad do you want to commentate, Steve?
Hey, you know what I mean? Like, we have a new slew of killers at light heavyweight.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, you know what?
Yeah, but who gives John fits right now, though? Even right now, who gives John fits? Does Yuri?
Oh, yeah. Yuri gives him problems. Yuri not having a problem getting punched in the face and his size and length. Because John is a master of range control, right? And
yeah.
he keeps people away. But if somebody doesn't mind getting hit and will continue to walk you down like Dominic Reyes did for 2 rounds and like Thiago Santos did for 5 with a torn ACL, like, John doesn't like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I actually think Yuri does. I think Rakic would have been a nightmare matchup for John Jones. I really do.
Yeah, I don't really want to see him at heavyweight either. I'm with you on that one. That does nothing for me.
Like, he just doesn't do anything for me anymore. How many multi-year layoffs has he had in his career?
A lot.
You know, it's like, dude, you can't keep doing this and expect us to care, bro. You just can't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If Glover got him down, Jones will get him down. But when Jones gets him down, elbows. I thought Yuri did a great job of getting out of some bad spots.
Think Yuri cares.
I don't think he does either.
He's like that. Have you seen he like lives his life like in the Bible, the life of a samurai? Like I think he likes.
He really does. Yeah.
I like. You know, it's like when Michael Chandler said like Justin Gaethje said, "I love violence," and he goes, "Most people just say it because it sounds cool, but I actually believe him."
Yeah.
Yuri's another one of those kind of psychos that like he just.
He really is.
He's cut from that cloth, dude. It's like, dude, he's a bigger version of Tony Ferguson. He's a freaking psycho, dude.
Yeah, see, he's Fiji's. I think more people are on that side than we've.
And John wants all this money, and what he doesn't realize is his stock is going down every single day.
Nobody cares.
They just said they're getting close.
Did he?
Yeah. Who do you want to see John fight when he comes back?
Stipe. I mean, if you're going to do a heavyweight, if he's going to come back to heavyweight, Stipe.
Oh,
give me Stipe.
Stylistically, I just think it's a bad matchup for Stipe.
I do too, but who else are you going to throw him up against?
Tai Tuivasa.
Him and Gain are already scheduled to fight.
What?
Aren't him and Gain already scheduled?
Tai and Gain?
Yeah, aren't they scheduled to fight already?
Did that get scheduled?
Yeah, I think it did. Hang on, let me check.
I hate that fight for Tai.
I do too. Yeah, that's happening. I think. Yeah, September 3rd. Rumored upcoming bout. It says it hasn't been official, but on Tapology it says a rumored upcoming bout. I think that's going to be on the. Aren't they going back to London? Curtis Blades and Jones is what Fiji said.
I'm not positive which way that fight would go.
I'm not either. But if I'm the matchmaker, just Stipe, like it would be a big fight. They're obviously two big names, arguably the greatest heavyweight of all time.
Does Jones just get the Francis fight whenever Francis is ready? Is that all they're waiting for at this point? Is John Jones?
Could be.
Because Francis will be ready when? Like January?
Yeah, I don't know how long he's out. I haven't even seen anything on that.
Tore his ACL, all that.
Yeah, probably January then, roughly.
They just come out and just be like, you know what? John Jones, greatest light heavyweight of all time. Because Dana, even when he's talking about it, was complimentary. He's like, no, he's still the greatest in cage fighter of all time.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like, he wasn't as dismissive as he has been. So I'm like, I wonder if he's come back. He might just throw him right back into the title or an interim title fight. Him and Stipe for interim title. That's probably what's going to happen.
Who would you like to see?
I'm sorry. The disrespect Stipe gets and just doesn't get thrown right back into it. It's kind of ridiculous.
If you're the matchmaker, who are you putting him with?
John Jones?
Yeah.
I'm telling John Jones to get his fat butt back down to 205, and I want to see him fight Yuri right now.
I actually like that.
That's what I like on John Jones. Hey, all that crappy fake muscle that you're putting on.
Yeah. It's all fat.
Off, big dog.
It's fat.
Yeah. Start peeling that off. You're gonna go fight Yuri at 205.
Yeah. I don't like that fight.
Hey. Oh, man, dang it. I forgot. I've been wanting to talk to you about this. TikTok, there's a channel that's conspiracies.
Okay.
Go look up John Jones. When was his last fight?
John Jones.
I feel you. See, Steve, Fiji. That's exactly how I feel. I like Stipe so much, and I don't want him to get head kicked by John.
If he goes to light heavyweight, I definitely see it. August or February 2020.
February 2020. Okay, you ready?
Yep. 2.5 years. They said
John Jones. So USADA back a few years ago came out and they changed it that they don't have to report when somebody's suspended or fail a test. They just send the information to the UFC, and the UFC can do with it whatever they want. What if John Jones is serving a suspension and they didn't want it to come out that he popped again?
That's an interesting conspiracy.
Like what if John Jones and the UFC are the only ones that know that he popped, and they said, you know what, John, if we come out and let everybody know that you popped again, you're never coming back. Like it's over all the way. And the UFC goes, we're going to do you a solid on this one. You are going to go and sit on the sidelines and be a good boy for 2 years now. You're going to shut up. We're going to make all these, put all these feelers out throughout, but nothing ever was really going to happen. Maybe you're just putting on weight, go up to heavyweight, fight Francis. We'll talk, dude, this could be all scripted. And he comes back to 205. He vacates his own title, and the UFC just goes, vacate your title.
Interesting.
Like the fact that he vacated and walked away what he did, and now he hasn't fought for a year and a half is a little fishy.
2.5. 2020. February 2020.
Okay. You see what I'm saying?
I would think that would have gotten out.
Who's letting it out if the UFC says, nope, that's not going anywhere? And John, shut up or else you're never coming back.
I wonder if I could find out.
Use your source. Use your USADA source.
Have connections.
Sources say.
How smart would that be of the UFC to keep that quiet?
Until it gets broke on the Damage Plan MMA podcast.
Oh, man. I love it.
100 listeners. But, I mean, the more you think about it, the more it kind of makes
interesting.
Sense.
That's interesting.
And he's serving like 32-month suspension.
Would it be that long?
A couple years.
We have to dig in the
multiple drug test failures.
Yeah. I'll find a Latina lawyer. They'll just let any woman. Just doesn't have to be a Latina. Just give it to a woman. She'll find out. She'll find it if it's out there.
Man. I'm not saying. I'm just
Zack,
saying.
Zach with his conspiracy theories.
It's a good one.
It is a really good one. It's interesting.
Like
Depp's lawyer. Johnny Depp's lawyer.
Not Amber Heard, that's for sure.
Definitely not Amber Heard's lawyers. No. Oh, man.
But, I mean, I'm just saying, he's been off. The way he vacated his belt and said, no thanks, I'm good. It was like, really? Like, there's like like he hadn't cleaned out the division. There was a whole crop of new guys coming up. The Izzy fight was kind of there. Dude, Izzy came up to 205 right after. Like, the Izzy fight was there. Izzy came up and fought the 205 champ like 6 months later.
Maybe.
John Jones, Chairman USADA suspension. I'm calling it.
All right. Tweet it out to Joe Rogan. Because Joe Rogan, he doesn't really look, but you could try. I would definitely do it on Twitter because it might get his attention.
You think?
Makes too much sense. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. And if I'm the UFC, that is a super smart move. Are you tweeting it?
Maybe.
You're tweeting it, aren't you?
Maybe.
Oh, man. All right. Are we done for the day?
I'm done for the week, dog.
You are done for the week. Everybody, give it up for Zach. Him and his wife will be welcoming the baby.
Don't give it up for me. I ain't doing nothing. I'm going to be sitting in the hospital room playing Xbox.
Give it up for Hillary.
Yeah, give it up for Hillary.
Give it up for Hillary.
How about that?
We will be doing, I'll have Blake Arulian jumping on this week with me to do some Fighter Spotlight podcast. Joel Harrell's going to jump in with me and do some Fighter Spotlight podcast.
I'm okay with Blake filling in for me. Joel, get out.
Yeah, get out of here, Joel.
Joel, get out.
We got another great card coming up this weekend. We got Josh Emmett and Calvin Kattar this weekend.
You know, I would like to just announce this will be our last child. And it's unfortunate because every time I'm about to have a kid, great fights happen. You know what I did the first day Jordan was born?
What?
I was holding him in my arms watching Dustin Poirier versus Dan Hooker obliterate each other for 5 rounds. That was the day after he was born. So
love you too, Steve. Thanks for tuning in. Fiji, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys. Love you guys. We out.